I learned how to be a father by watching my father. So how can I be a good father? The example I had was my father. Now, don't get it twisted, because I loved my father. I just wish that he had been just that, a father. But alas, he wasn't just that. He was a human being, who, like all of us, made many mistakes since his days as a teen. Yes, people, I am here to admit that my dad was a fiend. To all addictions, but especially the needle to arm that causes the lean. So there's trying times when I needed a father and son dedication. My man was drifting off to sleep in the middle of our conversation. I would sit by the door, backpack in tow, till he would approach the door with eyes down low, waiting because he said he would be there soon. All the while, he was in a back alley putting flame to the spoon. When he finally showed up, it would be the same old song. But as a child, I swallowed it because in my eyes, he could do no wrong. My mother, of course, would have a totally different approach. I guess in her eyes, she couldn't believe this was my life lesson coach. She'd yell at him till he had enough. I guess facing the facts of reality are kind of tough. So he'd grab his coat and make a beeline towards the door and forget what the original purpose that he was there for. So I sit in my room, throw off my backpack, and cry. Yell at my mom for chasing him away and wish I would die. You see, because I thought that they argued because of me. And if I wasn't in the picture, then happy they would be. At 5 years old, I was making excuses to her as to why he wasn't there and how she needs to stop treating him like that because it just isn't fair. My dad's drug induced excuses had substance from his mouth to my brain. I guess as a lad, the thought of my daddy lying to me was totally insane. But as I got a little older and wiser to the game, those same words that traveled from ear to brain didn't feel the same. I would stand there in mid conversation with a squint, leaned head and puzzled look on my face as to give him a hint, as to say, nah, dog, that ain't gonna work on me anymore, dog. I'm a teenager now, and I don't live in that fantasy fog. So years of built up anger and disappointment reared its ugly head. How do you explain loving someone so much that you wish that they were dead? Because the years of pain had finally surfaced, and the man you considered your hero had no purpose. So acting out was my only release, to escape reality and make the thoughts in my mind cease. My friends in the streets became my safety net, even though the expectations that I put on them weren't met. I took their disappointing attributes in stride because they were my strength, and let my guard down on occasions when I should have kept them at arm's length. But I must say, with all honesty, that had the longest lasting effect was my parallel like father like son approach to women in lack of respect. Because a woman's heart was never a hard act to fend. It was just a simple means to an end. An inherited mentality that portrayed an addictive personality, addicted to the fast life, speed driving past life. Until I grew older and embraced life, I was out there wasting my life. So now I'm a dad full time. To be honest, it's a joy and a penance at the same time, because the help is further than near. It's my payment for not having the ability to see clear and envision early what was the most important key. And selfish I was until I embraced the love of my family. And God knows I missed out on so much, and all they wanted was my simple fatherly touch. So for years I used my dad's influence as a crutch, when all I was doing was drinking and rolling up a Dutch. So, a boy I was and a man I am, and I ask you to walk with me over the footsteps in the sand. Because the path chose for me, we have followed. Now, join me as we go left for a different tomorrow. In my 32 years on God's green earth, I've learned a few things about me, and I will attempt to put those newfound expectations on paper for you to see. We all know love is the indescribable feeling that we all try to describe, and in how most of my movements are made with that in mind when I attempt to constrive a thought, an ordeal, a transgression, or an instinctive vibe. So, with that being said, let me explain. I learned all my fruitful lessons through pain. Things that happened to me, the individual that wouldn't allow me to ever be the same. Life lessons, if you will, that allowed me to see through unblinded eyes how I tended to be vain, caught up in the mix of bullshit for the sake of street glory or emotional fame. Through my years, I lived a life that had the road paved for me that was hellish. Oncoming traffic replaced by women's hearts, and I swerved in and out of lanes, road warrior that was selfish. All I wanted was to get to my destination, unfazed by the damage and destruction, engine fueled by disappointment and frustration, waiting for the Lord to come sit me down for a consultation, play mediator between me and the victims I left in my path, play judge and jury so I could feel his wrath. But instead, he played guide and didn't fucking make me stop until I realized for myself I was a splitting mirror image of my pops. But you see, in the mirror, everything is reversed. So there was a loophole into escape this demonized curse. What he saw when he looked in me was who he was and what he was. In me was the potential that his youth possessed, and in him was just cause. So now when I look into the reflection, I still see him, but I see what he was. And in me, I don't live for just cause, I live for a just cause. It is why I take my ambition to a higher level, because until then I felt like I was drowning up in the devil's kettle, till I was released through the steam and taught to never settle. I am not him, I am just a product of him. And in the pool of my life, I have taught myself how to swim. The love for my father will never die, but his influence has been laid to rest. I have swam through shark infested waters to get to where I'm at today, and the journey has been the best. Because I have discovered where my weaknesses lie and how I can strengthen them to be powerful, how I can use my shortcomings to my advantage and take an attempt at a life that is wonderful. There are blessings in absolutely every obstacle you encounter. And I want to thank you, Daddy, for giving me the tools to seldom falter. And when I speak of my daddy, I want to know I speak to both of you, my father and my God, the only guides on my journey that I hold true. Amen.